All of us have experienced a lot of change lately. From school closures to no group meetings, our daily routines are continuously taking on new looks. Our ministry is no different. We know at this point that the rest of our spring semester small group meetings are going to happen over Zoom. We're going to begin to share there video reflections on the themes of identity. I hope that you'll join on Wednesday nights, your small group, to view these reflections and join in on the dialogue in these virtual spaces about who you are and where you belong. In these uncertain times, it's even more important that we find connections with ourselves and with others. Since early March, we have been under government orders to socially distance. We've been warned to maintain a 6-foot distance from others and keep gatherings to 10 or less. Our schools have closed. Many businesses have shut down. Schedules have been cleared as sports seasons, theater productions, and every other activity we engage in has been canceled for the spring and into the summer. Our daily personal connections have diminished, yet platforms such as Zoom and House Party have soared. Other media companies are placing new chat tools on the top of their project lists. The connections happening in your own homes have taken different forms as well. You and your family are eating more meals together and gathering around game boards or going for walks. I like to say that at church we come to connect to God, ourselves, and others. But there is another layer to this that I am inviting you to explore. We, as created beings, exist with a body, a mind, and a spirit. Within each of these places of our identity, we are capable of creating connection. Connection with self, others, and God is less of a drawbridge that is either up or down, but more of an intricate network or web of connections as we connect our own mind, our own body, and our own spirit to others' minds, bodies, and spirits. Our webs of connection are not simple, and they can become disconnected. For instance, our bodies are missing out on regular physical connections to our friends and teachers at school. There are no more high fives, hugs, and secret handshakes. We are missing out on being at the table in class or lunch table with our best friends. While our most regular forms and our most comfortable forms of connection are set aside right now, we are stretched to consider what new connections we can make. We are also stretched to think about what kind of connections we have been ignoring. In this diagram, ourself, God, and others are represented, as well as mind, body, and spirit. Each line indicates how we can connect through our minds, bodies, and spirits. And in the middle, there are gray arrows showing that being a whole person includes these connections within ourselves. Each line is a point of connection. For instance, my mind is connected to others when I have a stimulating conversation, but it is our bodies connecting when we are spending quality time together. Spirit connections are probably the trickiest to define because they are probably the most overlooked. Spirit connections can be sharing our emotions with one another, but that's not the whole picture of the spiritual self. Another way to attend to our spirit is through prayer. Connects our spirit with the Spirit of God. But there's also the question of how to connect my spirit with my own body. I think a practical way to do this is to sit in silence and check in with myself. Ask myself what my body is feeling. Is it sore? Am I feeling tired? Am I experiencing a strong emotion right now? Is my mind wandering, or can it quiet itself to be still with my spirit and with my body? There's also a necessary balance that we must have in these connections. We must be aware of ourselves, God, and also others in our lives. My best friend from college is also a youth minister, all the way out in California. His name is Austin. If you didn't know, California has been on a shelter-in-place order since March 19th. Austin lives alone and has been even more cut off from person-to-person contact, having to stay at home. One of the few ways we frequently connect with each other's spirits is by offering to pray for each other over the phone. Every time Austin prays for me, I am reminded how someone else's perspective of me and who I am in God's eyes can help me step outside of the worst parts of myself that tell me I am alone, that tell me I am no good, and that I'm just wasting my time with my efforts. So my challenge for you this week is to draw a web of connections and consider how you connect with God, yourself, and one other close friend or family member. Consider how you connect minds, body, and spirit, and then consider which ways you can connect with God, yourself, and someone else. Over the next 6 weeks, we will be exploring the ideas of our identity. Today, we explored the idea that we were created each with a body, a mind, and a spirit. My hope is that through these discussions and reflections, we will discover and become passionate about living out our true selves, the self that God created us to be. Therefore, may you recognize in your life the presence, power, and light of your soul. May you realize that you are never alone, that your soul and its brightness and belonging connects you intimately with the rhythm of the universe. And may you have respect for your individuality and difference. May you realize that the shape of your soul is unique, and that you have a special destiny here. That behind the facade of your life, there is something beautiful and eternal happening. May you learn to see yourself with the same delight, pride, and expectation with which God sees you in every moment.